This past weekend on Top Rank, the Devin Haney versus Vasiliy Lomachenko card, that happened, and that was an amazing card. And we probably saw the knockout of the year. But before that, welcome to All Takes No Whiffs. I'm Christian. That's Alex. And yeah, before we get into the main event, the knockout of the year, Junto Nakatani knocking out Jason Maloney in the 12th round.
Andrew.
Andrew Moloney. Jason just won a world title, excuse me. But Andrew Moloney going for the same title, the WBO title, obviously a different weight class, but wasn't successful like his brother. And it was very, very different performances. Andrew Moloney, I will give this to him. He's a dog for taking the beating that he took, going 12 rounds before being put out the way he was put out. Credit to him, because Nakatani was just cooking him. But at the same time, Maloney, I think, looked good in certain stretches, but never like he took control of the fight or anything like that.
Oh no, and I mean he had to take a beating to give off some of those shots that he was getting. It was exactly. One of those type of fights. It was take one to give one, or take one to give two, and that's exactly what he was doing. And he looked good at times. Honestly, it's just that he was in there with someone who was just a lot better, had a lot more power, and honestly, it was just a lot bigger than him too.
Yeah, but straight up, obviously, it was an entertaining fight. Got to the final round, but
almost ended too. About 20 seconds away from ending.
Yeah, but what else is there to talk about but this knockout? This knockout, I think, sent like shockwaves throughout boxing, to be honest.
Bro, I remember I texted Christian and I said, bro, knockout of the year just happened.
Yeah, and it was I 100% agree, because it was beautiful. It was off the back foot. It was a counter, left hand. Had to bend down like that, caught him like that, and I'm just glad that Andrew Moloney is all good and healthy. But looked like his soul was snatched, to be honest, with that knockout. That was crazy, straight up.
I mean, it was crazy, and you knew it was bad. I mean, as soon as he hit him and his legs buckled like that, I mean, you knew it was bad. I mean,
he was shaking.
He was shaking. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I hate seeing fighters like that, but it was just it's such a good, clean punch, though, to be honest. And the thing about it, too, is he kind of leaned into it, too, because he did kind of get his head
going in for his own left hook, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and then he got caught. So, I mean, it was just a perfectly executed punch by Nakatani, to be honest.
And I just love it how it was off the back foot. Like he was stepping back, setting up. He had his jab out, and then sorry, it just got me. That got me hyped.
It was hype. It was hype.
And the
commentators, I was sitting right here, and I was looking at my TV that's right over here, and I was on my computer, and I was like, okay, this fight's gonna go all the way. Yeah. I looked over for 5 seconds, and I saw that happen, and I was like, oh my god, dude, that was gross. And I was tweeting about this the entire fight. That uppercut he has too is really good. I thought that's what he's actually going to end it. I thought that's what he's going to end it with.
He knocked him down earlier with like a flurry of that same uppercut, right? It was like 3 strikes.
Second round, yeah, I think it was a second.
Yeah, but no, Nakatani. We said it in the preview. He is legit. He is a name that you got to keep an eye out for his name, because he's going to be in some entertaining fights, as you can see. But credit to Andrew Moloney too. I think him bringing it, that was definitely a key piece in making it an entertaining fight. But at the end of the day, I feel like we were right. Nakatani was just levels, even though Maloney brought it to the 12 levels.
Mm-hmm. So, is there anyone you want to see Nakatani fight next? Because I mean, this dude's exciting, honestly.
Honestly, I want to see him try to unify with the champions he shares the weight class with. Juan Francisco Estrada, obviously we know what's up with him. That's a quality boxer. That'd be a huge name for him, Nakatani, to face. Joshua Franco as well, I feel like. And honestly, just any other top contenders in that weight class, but those two guys specifically, I think Nakatani just needs to keep building. That was a really quality win, Andrew Moloney, but I think he's got room for a step up. I think he showed that, like we said, he's got levels above Maloney's level, so let's see what's next.
Yeah, I want to see this guy step up and face some better competition. Andrew Moloney, solid boxer, definitely not like his brother Jason. I think Jason, like we said 2 weeks ago too, is definitely the better boxer out of the twins, but love what I saw out of Nakatani and want to see him step up too. But another fight that was on this card, we didn't talk about this last week though, but Oscar Valdez versus Adam Lopez. This was a rematch. This was a really good fight for Oscar Valdez. He took I think this was his first fight since his first loss. So he looked really good back in the ring. Adam Lopez, dude just doesn't have it. Like, I mean, he's just going to be one of those guys who gets in there with a top level guy, but just doesn't beat them. He looked good at times, but he got beat. He just got beat down in that fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely good to see Valdez come out and take the dub, bounce back after his loss to Shakur Stevenson. Doesn't mean that, he can work his way back up to Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, because Shakur is on a different path. I know I just got on the tangent about Shakur when it came to Valdez. I'm excited to see what's next for Valdez. 130 is a good weight class for him to keep doing his thing in. But, yeah, as far as the main event, though, Devin Haney versus Vasiliy Lomachenko. This is, in my opinion, one of my favorite fights of 2023, without a doubt, so far. This was super close. It was a chess match, just like we expected, but it was super entertaining.
Yeah, this is one of the most entertaining fights of the entire year so far. Back and forth. I mean, there were some rounds. I mean, you didn't know who won each round. I mean, there was swing. That's why they call it a swing round. Like, literally either fighter could have won that round. So it's what made this such a good fight. Loma looked so much better than everyone anticipated. I feel like he looked quick out there. Those angles he was getting were kind of crazy at some points. And I don't think Haney knew what to do at some points. And I was telling Christian before this fight, or not before the fight, before we even started recording, that there's at one point where Haney couldn't figure out that left hand from Lomachenko. And not at one point, the entire fight, he couldn't figure it out. And he said it. He told his dad at one point that I don't know what to do with that left hand.
Yeah, it was definitely working for Loma too, and obviously Haney, that was something that he needed to figure out, and can't really say he did for sure, but Haney was definitely getting his some really good work in, especially in the beginning to middle rounds. Like, he was getting some really good body work in. Not saying that it impacted Loma too much, because obviously Loma in the second half was still doing his thing, but Haney kept countering him with this rear uppercut to Loma's body whenever Loma would come in, since Loma had to close the distance. And I just thought that was really clean work from Devin. And there was times that Devin, his defense looked pretty sharp. His head movement looked solid. But really, though, the action, I think what it came from was Lomachenko pushing it. And it brought something out of Devin, because Devin probably would have played it a little safe if Lomachenko wasn't as aggressive as he was.
Oh, yeah, and it's kind of like I said in the preview. If Lomachenko wanted any chance in this fight, he had to come out fighting and come out pressing early, and that's what he did. He came out early, and he landed some good shots early, but he also got hit a little bit early too. That's what I was kind of hoping for in this fight too, so Loma wouldn't be too aggressive at some points, so he would respect kind of Haney at points. But, I mean, there's one thing I think we got to get into with this, though, is the scorecards.
Yeah. The scorecards.
What was your initial thought when you heard them?
115, 113 is very fair to either fighter, I felt because it was that close. It was within a round, or even a draw. The 116, 112,
absurd.
I want to say it's absurd, and I'm gonna straight up say I don't agree with it. I don't think the gap was like that, but when there's that many swing rounds involved, yeah, I can't completely blame a judge. If they did something like 117, 111, though, if it was even bigger by one round, I would have been screaming fire the judge who did it. But even then, I'm still raising my eyebrow for the 116, 112. But honestly, this could have very easily been a draw.
It's exactly honestly what I think it should have been. I think at least one judge should have honestly had Lomachenko's favor, I feel like. But I mean, then again, they have their own opinions. They're sitting there at the fight. They're seeing something different than what we're seeing home at TV and stuff. So I understand it.
I'm going to say this too. Straight up, even though I have my opinion that it could have gone either way, Lomachenko sold taking off the 12th round. Why would you take off the 12th round when you've already been bitten by losing the 12th round in a major fight against Teofimo Lopez? And then I just don't like that approach, especially in professional boxing in general. It almost seems kind of amateurish. Like it's like, hey, I got the points I needed, so it's like, let me just coast to this. No, it's like every second you're in the ring, it's competitive, because the guy is trying to take your head off at the end of the day. I don't know about Devin Haney specifically if he's trying to take his head off, but at the end of the day, his opponent's trying to beat him. So it's like at every second you're in the ring, you should be doing the same thing. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's weak-minded. It's just almost like irrational thinking to me.
I kind of don't really understand it. I mean, especially since what you just said, since it literally just happened in his last loss against Teofimo Lopez. I mean, I also made this argument. We talked about this before too. I also made this argument that he was hurt in that fight too.
Yeah,
He did have surgery after that fight right away, but I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You have a really good gas tank. I mean, you're one of the best fighters with endurance and stamina in the entire world, to be honest. You're and that fight was just so back and forth and close. I mean, why would you even think of like, even if you thought you were winning, I still would have put it on the gas. And another thing too, Devin Haney's dad thought this dude was winning the entire fight, and he said the fight wasn't even close after the fight. So I don't know what he was watching. I know he's just trying to instill confidence and everything, but I don't know what the fuck he was watching. Sorry for my language right there.
It's all good. But honestly, I will say this. Loma taking off the 12th round like that, I think he is trying to cover up the fact that he was gassed. He was gassed from that 11th round. Loma put everything into that 11th round. I think he was gassed in the 12th and didn't want to admit it.
The 10th and 11th, he clearly, those are the only two rounds I think of the entire fight that you could say someone clearly won.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see why, yeah, you're making sense there.
So, like, putting all of that into the 10th and 11th, especially the 11th, I'm pretty sure he outlanded Haney like 20-2 in that round as well. He was gassed going into the 12th. That's the conclusion I'm coming to, because ain't no way you could just say, oh, I took the 12th off. For what reason? Because you were gassed. Like, it's not because of anything else that you thought you won or anything like that. That's how I see it.
It makes sense. But, I mean, overall, this was a really, really good fight. I wouldn't say I was happy with the results, but, I mean, like I said in our preview, I mean, I really do enjoy watching both of these fighters fight. One thing I will say, though, do not think Devin Haney is as good as I thought he was. He may not be a top tier level fighter like I thought he was. He may be one level down for right now, but you never know. He was in there with future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Haney's still young. He's only 24. He's got room to work with, of course. But I see what you're saying. As of right now, I don't think Devin Haney has top 3 pound for pound potential. And like that's not even saying on some hating shit. Like top 3 pound for pound is huge. Like I think
those 3 guys out of there right now, oh, they're good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. Maybe if Haney were to have decisively beaten Lomachenko, like by a lot more, by a lot more, then yeah, I would say so. Like he looks good. He's very skilled. It's just, I really think the power is a big problem. Not a big problem. I think it's a disadvantage to like at this point for him. It's like obviously it's not enough to get his top tier opponents to respect him at the end of the day. Lomachenko was no hesitating pushing the action even after he was getting caught. But I think that's something that needs to be addressed for sure. But he's gonna have to trade off speed for the power, and then it's like, how's that gonna work out for him? But at the same time, like I said, Devin's only 24. He's got a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, so who do you think he could be fighting next? I know there's a lot of names out there. I know there's one name I really want to see now, but
and I'm gonna say it. I know exactly who it is. I want to see him. You want to see him. A lot of people want to see him fight Shakur Stevenson
and get cooked.
He would get cooked by Shakur Stevenson straight up, and Shakur knows it too. Shakur was just cheesing in the ring the whole time. He was like,
he had that devious smile the entire time he was in the ring after the fight, and I was like, this man's ready to eat.
Devin knows it too, because he didn't face off with him or nothing.
They got out of the ring quick, and Shakur even said that. He was like, you see, they didn't even stay out here.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even answer Bernardo Osuna, who he wanted to fight next. He was like, you know who I want it. You know who I want.
In Devin's defense, there's already been talks about him moving up. Obviously, that could get in the way of that. But then it's like, now it's like he's going to be like, oh, man, I already had this in talks. Why would I face Shakur? Like, I can't do that to myself.
He's going to duck him.
I don't want to say it, but yeah. I mean, Shakur would cook him. In my opinion, Tank cooks him. Anybody else, though, I think it's Haney. I'm that high on Haney. Ain't that?
What about William Zepeda?
Haney cooks him for a decision, in my opinion.
I think Zepeda's a couple fights off from any of these type of fights anyway.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, to be completely honest, a Lomachenko rematch would be fucking sick.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. You dropped one earlier. I had to get one. But yeah.
Hopefully we won't get in trouble.
Yeah. No, it's not within like the first, I think, 10 seconds, so we're good. Yeah. But yeah, a Lomachenko rematch would be sick. To be honest with you, it was that razor thin. Like as we said, there's a lot of swing rounds. Who knows? Maybe it could be the same thing. Maybe Loma won't take off the 12th because look, he takes off the 12th. It's a clear loss. If those two judges, if he didn't take off the 12th and he excuse me, if he didn't take off the 12th and he potentially won the 12th, those 115, 113s are 114, 114s. That's two 114, 114s. That's a draw. Way more inclined to get a rematch. It's just
No, we 100% would, I feel like.
it just trickles down to that. Like, and it's like that's why you don't like
Don't take it off.
I'm a big fan of Loma, but to be honest, I kind of think the dude is a little too overconfident. I don't know if it's his corner that gives him that overconfidence, but like there's no way you go into the 12th round thinking I'm not gonna give everything I got. That's all I feel like.
Yeah, it's a little fishy, honestly. I mean, I don't really understand it. Probably never will, but hopefully he will learn from it. I mean, I don't think he's going to retire. I mean, this dude's still got a lot left in the tank, I feel like. I do know that there's been talks about him going home and being home for a little while, but I'm really excited just to see where both of these guys go next because I think these are still two top level fighter. Obviously, Devin Haney, he's 30-0 now, but I still think Loma's still got a lot left.
Yeah, same here. He's 35, so like I do think he should get his rest. Definitely contemplate what he wants to do with his future, but also you're 35, so don't take too long. Don't come back when you're 37. That's how I feel. But yeah, honestly, amazing card, an amazing fight. Seeing the KO of the year, without a doubt, the KO of the year up to this point, in my opinion. I know the Fundura one when Fundura got knocked out, that was nasty too. But I give it to Nakatani.
This one was better.
Yeah, straight up. But and then for the main event, the chess match that just had us locked in from start to finish. This is what boxing is all about because and like everything, you get everything. We got everything this weekend with boxing. You got the super entertaining fight, the brutal knockout, the controversy that everybody's talking about. That's just all. That's what boxing is at the end of the day. And yeah, Top Rank delivered full on, I guess. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for both of these fighters. But until then, peace.
Peace.